Hello everyone, let's talk about some ethical hacking reconnaissance. So information gathering and getting to know the target systems in the first process in ethical hacking. Reconnaissance is a set of process and techniques, footprinting, scanning, and enumeration used to covertly discover and collect information about a target system. During this, an ethical hacker attempts to gather as much information about the target system as possible, like gather initial information, determine the network range, identify active machines, discover open ports and access points, fingerprint the operating system, uncover services on ports, map the network. We will discuss in detail all these steps in previous video. So reconnaissance takes place in two parts: active and passive reconnaissance. So active one is process. You will directly interact with the computer system to gain information. This information can be relevant and accurate, but there is a risk of getting detected if you are planning active reconnaissance without permission. If you are detected, then the system domain can take severe action against you and trail your subsequent activities. And passive reconnaissance, in this process you will not be directly connected to a computer system. This process is used together. All investigations in Multigo are based on and begin with transforms and entities. So this is the dashboard of Multigo. Transforms are bits of code which when run generate information based on information we already have. We call this information entities. Look, here is entities. Transforms search for information related to an entity on the graph and allow you to query an API or database to show related information on the graph. So this is my Multigo Kali Linux edition. Take a new graph here. Entities are represented as nodes on a graph. Investigations start with one or more entities upon which we run transforms to explore the relationships between these entities and other, yet unknown pieces of information. So here is banner, DNS name, system server, domain, IP addresses, netblack, URL, tracking code, website, whatever you can attack. So you can attack by email, image, person phone number, social network. The Multigo standard transforms include 39 entity types and many hub items. Will also include new entity types when installed. You can also create your own custom entities to use with your own custom transforms. Any properties and values can be set for this entity, and you can even inherit from another entity The transforms from the parent entity will work with the child entity by default, and its properties and values can also be easily inherited. The most basic entity in Multigo has a type, for example, a website or email address, and a value. The value of a website could be www.multigo.com, and the value of the mail address could be support@multigo.com. They can also include things like calculated, static, and dynamic properties, bookmarks, notes. This is my target website. The multi-standard transforms are the default OSINT transforms that ship with every Multigo desktop client. These include transforms for gathering OSINT from common sources on the internet, such as queries on DNS servers, search engines, social networks, various APIs, and other sources. With over 150 transforms, the multi-standard transforms enable investigations to perform a vast range of standard use cases on Multigo, including. Now I run transforms in my targeted website. Many options is here, like phone numbers, website mentioning, domain, all the transforms. So you can choose any of them. The Multigo built with transforms provide the current and historic technologies which websites are built upon. These transforms are particularly useful for discovering relationship between websites and for retrieving the details on how these are related, as well as the duration of the relation. A transform developer's task is to write the logic that translates between a transform request sent from Multigo and the data being accessed. The data can be in the form of databases like MySQL. So this is the relationship between google.com. Here is the overview. In the top right corner, the Multigo desktop application removes much of the complexity of working with linked graphs, such as merging duplicate nodes, updating layouts, and visualizing the entities. The transform developer therefore need only be connected with extracting the request object and querying the data. There is a significant requirement to liaise with the transform designer and investigations requiring the information to build transforms that will be useful. So it's IP version 4 addresses, multi-go IP address. Multi-go uses an XML based protocol between the desktop clients and the TDS, as well as between the TDS and the transform server. A transform developer can choose to directly read and interpret the XML based transform request and respond with the required XML response message using a basic web server. Host a basic HTTP server with the transform logic. Translate the XML transform request message to Python objects that are easier to work with. Look all the entities relationship with each other: website address, email address, and domain. And here is your output. This is not much complex for beginner, but a little bit. A very useful software, multi-go.